I'm sure this has happened to most of you. We have more than one to do this on, so you get to see what we're doing here. We broke our pull rope numerous times. So pulling on it just wears friction and it breaks. So we're going to show you how to change this. And this is going to be the steps basically for any gas-powered engine with a pull rope, big, small. You specifically need a Milwaukee impact. If you don't have it, tell your wife you have to go buy it.
Aha. DeWalt will work just fine. Now,
hand tools will work just fine. I like power tools, so I have power tools, but I've done this with hand tools. For this specific engine, you need a 10 millimeter. Don't try it with a 3/8, it's the wrong size. 10 millimeter. Most likely a deep socket. That's what I got here. Because of the handles and the bolt location on one, I have this swivel. If you were to use just a ratchet and a deep socket, you'd be just fine. This one has 3 bolts. 1, 2, and 3. And because I'm using my little impact, I have an adapter. Okay, you need new rope.
that was more challenging to find than I expected.
Especially in California.
Yes, because they're currently outlawing the sale of gas small engines like this.
Get yourself more than enough. Get yourself a way to cut it. I'm gonna use a knife. You can use a pair of scissors, loppers, whatever. Something to burn the end, that'll be your friend. A lighter, a torch. Don't start a fire.
Yeah. And when you buy the pull rope, make sure they burn the ends of it for you or it'll unravel and that's just a waste.
This is a type of paracord. Paracord has strands inside, cover of strands on the outside, and what Erica is referring to is, if you can see that, that's the outer strands flexing out. The inner strands are still inside, but that's what makes it strong. So now it just come all unraveled on me. Great. In this case, I need an extension because I'm using a power tool. And this is our puppy. Or our daughter's puppy. But see, this one right here, I need this swivel because I can't get into that exactly straight on. So don't lose your screws.
Yep.
So here it is. You can see when you turn it, this is what comes out and catches your flywheel. You get your flywheel to engage. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna pull out the old rope, however you can. This is gonna want to be difficult.
Yeah, I think it's tightening.
You could take this off, take this whole piece off. There's a spring underneath here. If you do that, don't lose that spring. Don't cut yourself. Especially if you're like me and like really sharp knives. Oh, I just heard our spring click around.
It's really not very long.
No. Your little T-handle is going to have a cap in here. You need to get under that cap, just like that, and get your string out. Just got a simple knot, nothing fancy.
That was the biggest cord that they had at the
which is funny
supply store. I know it's a little smaller than we would like.
The store that she went to for years, I've bought power equipment from, you know, like this. So, okay, we're gonna measure this out and we're gonna get it fairly close. You can do this with a tape measure, or whatever. This is nice and easy. You're just gonna eyeball it. You're gonna cut it.
And you see how it's already starting to unravel there? That's
where you're
why
gonna
we
burn. That's where you're gonna burn your ends. Try not to burn these and have big old globs like that, because that's gonna make things difficult. You're probably gonna have to cut that off and reburn it. Just burn it slow. And a torch would work better without the wind blowing on us. And what you can do, because it stays hot for a little while, is you can press down on it and try and get it small. You will burn yourself, so be careful. What I like to do, we're burnt on this end. You pinch it and just keep pinching and pulling, like you're gonna give yourself a nice rope burn. See how the white is now shorter? It's a little more inside of that. Some people don't even reuse this. They just throw it out. Sometimes there's just a cap that just sits on top of here. We'll see how much of a pain this wants to be for us. We could take and just oversize this hole, which would be perfectly fine.
The bigger the hole, the bigger the knot has to be.
Yeah, or you can go this way, but this was the smaller end that I was trying to use. This means I'll just burn off the other end.
There we go.
Yeah. Don't cut yourself. I've cut myself. Just a simple overhand square knot, whatever that is.
Overhand, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a knot person.
That's simple. That's all you need. Simple. Right? Simple. See? Too big to go through. The other thing that can work is you can take and you can wrap it with some electrical tape, but only use a small amount. You know, you could use something smaller too, because electrical tape's kind of thick, so something like packing tape could work. Sometimes if you twist it, it helps it. This was starting to help, and then it twisted and pulled. There we go, just like that. It's a number 3 Phillips. There is a spring on the bottom side of this. Don't lose that. There's your spring that winds everything. So back in the day, you would wind your rope, wind your spring. But things change over time. Don't cut yourself.
Try not to cut the cord either.
Yeah, that's the end of it. Maybe I should have had my big old bushcrafting knife to be like. The blade on that one's quite a bit thicker. I'm going to wind this cord like so, and I'm following the groove that's inside here. So now we're going to put this spring on for this top piece. if you come take it apart like this, there's a little Teflon washer. Make sure that stays in there. On top of the spring, between this plate. I don't know what that plate is called. I'm not a small engine mechanic, but I know how to work on it. Quite a bit more temperamental in car engines. And I know how to rebuild car engines. I rebuilt the engine in my semi. So let's just see what happens.
Let's do it. Woohoo!
Okay. See how we have some left hanging out like this?
Yeah.
That should be enough to start our engine, right?
Yep.
What you can do if you don't like that, shorten it up. Take your little piece out.
Ta-da! Then just trim it.
Yep. Okay. For those of you that might have a pump or an engine, not necessarily a pump, mounted in, say, an overhead up high, you got a gas powered engine on an air compressor mounted in the back of your truck, sits high. You don't want to stand up and be ripping like this. You can mount this like this, like this, like this, like this. Just
Yeah.
depends on where you like your sticker for one and where you got to pull. If it's more convenient because I got to pull down, I don't care if the sticker's upside down.
Sure.
I'm gonna mount it where I have the straightest pull, where I'm not pulling against this and prematurely wearing out our cord.
Got it.
I wanted to say that because there's multiple holes here, as you can see.
And they're evenly spaced, so you can mount it however you want.
Yeah, there are only, in this particular engine, 3 holes that are tapped. But still, once again, your orientation isn't gonna matter. See, like, this does line up with a hole, but it's not threaded. Sometimes it's easier to put your bolt in your socket in case you got big fingers. Not all of us have little fingers like our camera holder who showed me up on replacing a marker light on her car one time. I had to get in there with a long pair of pliers because my hands were too big. She stuffed her little hands right in there and turned it like that. Yeah, like that.
Gotta have some advantages.
I turned my impact down so I wouldn't over tighten them either. That's the beauty of using a ratchet by hand. You can feel how tight it is. Don't be He-Man. I've broken bolts before. It's not any fun. Moment of, help me out here.
Truth.
Truth! Yeah, find out if it works. Does everyone know how to start these?
I did a video on it.
Oh!
I will put it in the up above thingy.
Up above thingy!
Yeah.
Click on the link. If you run into other problems, ask. Because chances are I've run into those problems and can give you some tips on what to walk through and how to do it to get through it.
Woo! Success!
Okay, so real quick. I wouldn't want to necessarily have that much shorter than that. I've had cords where they were like that long, and you get in the middle of a pole, and all of a sudden you forget, and your arm catching, it hurts.
Yeah.
Turn it back on. How long are we gonna run this? Because we gotta pump